Hello everyone, TLSG here, back again with another Daily Marvel Snap video. So today we have the new season start, and with the new season start, we have a new season pass card. This month we have Hitmonkey. Hitmonkey is a 2-cost, 0-power card that has the on reveal ability of gain +2 power for each other card that you played this turn. So this is going to be good for decks that want to flood a lot of cards. Bounce style decks are kind of the one that I thought of first, but honestly there's a few different shells that it's going to be, I think, pretty good in. A Sera tech shell that's looking to flood a lot of cards on the last turn that runs Mysterio, that runs like Shang-Chi, maybe Enchantresses, counter tools, and then a lot of lower cost cards, so your Sentinels, your now Hitmonkey, can enable you to do a pretty explosive last turn play, as well as potentially countering what your opponent's doing. And then in another shell that I haven't seen or really talked about too much is the Moon Zoo. So the Moon Girl Double Down Zoo deck that runs Titania. Sometimes it runs Sentinel, it runs She-Hulk, it runs the Hood into like trying to double your demons, and you could either double your Hitmonkey, or if you just have one and you flood 4 or 5 cards onto the board on that last turn, all of a sudden you have 2 really explosive units in your She-Hulk and your Hitmonkey, and then the other ones are not bad by any means. The Titania, the demons are all fantastic, and I think any of those shells are going to be a good representation of Hitmonkey, and I think he serves a pretty good purpose in all of those. Now, you won't be able to throw Hitmonkey into just any deck and expect it to perform well, so it's not necessarily like a Shuri where it's just incredibly versatile. But I do think this slots into several decks that want to do a lot of cards onto the board and want to burst a lot of those either later in the game or on the last turn of the game. And so in my testing, we had some pretty big Hitmonkeys. We had some pretty decent success. Overall, I think that this bounce deck is a fun way to use Hitmonkey, but I think there are going to be other ways that we're going to be able to use and lean into them a little bit more. This one, I think, is going to be much better if we start seeing a lot of Electro Sandman style ramp decks to counter the Hitmonkey plays. Otherwise, I think a Moon Zoo or a Sera Hitmonkey Mysterio tech deck are going to be really, really solid with this card. And if you want to see any of those decks tested out in a raw form, we are going to be going live as soon as this video is posted. I am going live, and so if you want to see any more of this deck, make sure to check us out on twitch.tv/TLSGSnap. And with the brief deck explanation out of the way, we're going to go ahead and jump over into a couple of games. I hope you guys enjoy. All right, first up we have Pathological Liar, and we have some early disruption. We have our Korg, so I do want to go ahead and rotate, but I also want the disruption. So we could rotate our Hood, which is great. We're taking out that negative power that's on the board, and we're bringing a demon into our hand and then just swapping it into something better. Wow, so they switch into an early Sauron. And so we saw a Nightcrawler, so I'm curious if this is a Sauron Zoo. If so, I'm not 100% sold on Sauron Zoo. So we're going to go ahead and play 2 cards. We're going to play Bast, and we're going to play Iceman. That will set our Hood and our Hawk to 3. If we flip into Hitmonkey, it's okay. It's going to be a 4-power, no Falcon. Wow, so that is going to bring a lot of cards back into our hand. A lot of rotation tools as well. And so we rotate this one into Bast again. Wow, those are some buff squirrels. Those squirrels are giving us some phenomenal advantages. So they do have Sauron, they have Angela. This looks like a Sauron Zoo, which I played, but I was never really impressed with. We're going to go ahead and play our Black Widow, and then we're going to rotate it. I'm going to go ahead and snap into this as well. And I'm going to move Korg over into Baxter Building. But we're going to rotate Black Widow. If it flips into, I mean, ideally it flips into like Bishop. Angela in the Quantum Tunnel is terrible because then we're never going to be able to buff it up no matter what. And so, wow, Sauron, I'm so confused as to what this deck is. It looks spicy, but I'm not certain on it. So it flips into a Mysterio. So we no longer get to enable our Hitmonkey that way. We have a lot of other ways to enable it, though. Let's go ahead and play our Hawk over to the right. We're not going to rotate anything this turn. And the longer that this goes, the scarier it gets. So Typhoid Mary, okay, that's fine. Because rotating into a beast is going to bounce these back into our hand. We don't necessarily want that at this point in the game. So let's go ahead and play Angela and Hood. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have a space for all of the remaining cards. We can rotate 1 squirrel, do 1 demon, do 1 buff squirrel, and then 1 Hitmonkey to the left. I think that's what we're going to do. I mean, Bishop's still hidden somewhere in there, so all we have is our enablers are, wow, the Hawk and the Angela, but that's a massive double up from the Sauron, which I think we're fine with. Let's go ahead and do a Squirrel rotation. If it pulls these cards back in, that's not great. So if we flip into Beast, we have a 1 out of 3 shot of just tanking this lane. I think it is what it is. We're gonna go ahead and take that risk, and then we can do a buff Squirrel, we can do a Demon, then we can do a decent Hit Monkey, not huge, but decent. So it's gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's gonna be 8 power for 2 cost. It's not bad, not too shabby. So the 0, how heavily are they gonna lean in on Baxter Building? Very, very heavily, it looks like. Ooh, and then the Lizard, oof. Then they rotate their last rock into a Nightcrawler. Not great for them. It does go into Beast. Oh, man. That's brutal. Well, we knew it was a possibility. If we can swing this right lane, then I think we swing the game. We swing mid as a result. Oh, my gosh. Not great, but we will take it. We will absolutely take the bad rotation, but being able to hold down mid and right at the same time. We'll go ahead and take the 4 cubes. Let's go ahead and jump over into the next one. All right, next up we have Et al. And the first location is Nidavellir. Not that it necessarily matters, but our Korg, Iceman, Widow are going to be not within Shang-Chi range and still put a decent amount of power on the board from that left lane. Ooh, and then we get Kamar Taj, which means we can do a double Black Widow, a double Iceman, just incredible disruption. Yeah, I do wish we would have dropped our Korg there, but we will settle for this as it is. Just having so much disruption limits the chances for them to draw into those key cards like, I don't know, Shuri, because that's surely what we're facing 9 times out of 10 on this new season, just because that is what people want to play. That is one of the more consistent decks, and it's very easy to run. And so it's easy to identify when you're losing, when you're winning, and snap whenever you're clearly ahead. Now, we sent them 2 Widow's Bites. They can use those into the Quantum Realm, but there's no telling what they flip into. It's probably pretty good with a Shuri deck, knowing how stacked it is. I wouldn't be surprised if they do stack. Oh, it looks like they stacked them into Nidavellir instead, or maybe they split them 1 and 1. So they rotate 1 Widow's Bite into Rescue. Interesting. Not what I thought. This looks like a Sera tech deck now. Why did they use a Widow's Bite to the left? I'm so confused. Because since they stormed this location, it doesn't give them any benefit. Okay, well, it is what it is. Let's do this and then this. We're going to do the Hawk to the left. We're going to do Iceman. Next turn, we can do like a Black Widow, a double Black Widow into a Falcon to pull our Korg, our Iceman back in. Hit them 1 last time on turn 6 with at least the rocks to buff up our Hawk. And I think overall we should be in a pretty decent spot. Now, they're probably looking to do, I mean, maybe a double Dr. Doom on the last turn. Could be their angle. Nope, they play 1 card over there, Carnage. Interesting. I don't know what kind of deck this is from Et al. Whatever it is, it's very curious. I'm guessing we disrupted their curve a good amount from the Iceman, the Black Widow, and just all of the junk that we're sending their way. Let's go ahead and do the double Demon, the double Widow's Bite, and then we're going to pull them back in. Do you think they'd stay if we snap? I think we're in a good enough position that we snap here. Oh, wait. Hold up. I mean, they snapped. We're going to go ahead and snap back. Because they double drop over here. We're going to hit this with another double Korg. We might not win the left lane, but I don't think they're guaranteed to win the others either. So the double Black Widow is just extra disruption. It's free rotations for them, but it's just, they can't draw. It's just really unfortunate for them. And then we're going to pull all of those back in. Had we flipped into, oh, the Bast into the Demons is not great. Ooh, so they hit a Vision. Interesting. Okay. So how do we want to do this? We do the Korg. We don't have a huge enabler in mid, which is not great. We do Korg. Let's do Mysterio. And then I guess we just rotate the rest. We'll see. It is what it is. We're going to go ahead and see. Depending on what we rotate into, I think we have a decent chance to rotate into Hitmonkey, which we played several cards, would be a pretty decent amount of power in Quantum Realm, or Quantum Tunnel, rather. So let's see. The extra 2 rocks into this is going to buff it up by another 4, bringing it up to 16. So that might beat their vision and carnage drop. Nope, the double Dr. Doom makes it impossible. Okay, so the Widow's Bite rotate into the hood. That's terrible. Oh, we're gonna pull this off, and we lose the left lane very heavily. But they flooded the right lane, which is interesting, knowing that, ooh, here comes the Hitmonkey coming down. So it should be pretty big, 10, even though the rest of the cards had not been revealed, which I think is beautiful from a tech, from the card itself. Let's go ahead and rotate back into the hood, which ours is positive. We do swing mid, we swing right with the 10 power casual Hitmonkey for an easy 8 cubes. Now, they did swing the left lane, but with the disruption we added, I'm sure their hand was just, unfortunately, tough to navigate. We will go ahead and take it. Let's jump over into the next one. All right, next up we have Justo, and we're seeing a lot of the Rock avatar that was released on April Fool's Day. We're going to go ahead and play our Bast. If we keep it there, I don't know. We may do Black Widow into Beast to pull them back in. Either that or we do Black Widow into Bishop into Beast. That way we can start buffing up the Bishop as well. And in the throne room, the cards with the highest power are going to have their power doubled. That's looking really good for either Hawk or Hitmonkey, because we do have Mysterio, so that's going to be an easy 3-card drop for the Hitmonkey. Now, they do a 0 and a Titania. This looks like a Shuri deck, so we're going to have to hope that we can get enough disruption into their line that they're not able to do what they want to do. Now, Tinker's Workshop helps us out a bit. We're going to hit them with a Iceman. A turn 3 Iceman, we're hoping that they have Shuri in hand and that it hits the Shuri. That is our biggest hope. They have 2 cards. If one of those is Shuri and they just double dropped onto the board, then maybe we got lucky and we disrupt them very, very greatly. But we'll see. We don't know for sure that that's the case. I'm going to go ahead and do our Beast. We will tell this turn. I think we prioritize pulling up our cards with Beast, then we can drop another Iceman, another Widow, another Bast if we need to, and then Hawk looks really, really solid going into the throne room. So they do skip. If they have Shuri in hand, we made it so unfortunate for them to play it on curve that it just makes it so difficult. And so we're absolutely beaming over that possibility. Now I think they probably have She-Hulk. I think we abandon the vault, oddly enough. I mean, I guess we can do this. This is fine. I don't know if we win the left lane is my only concern. Angela's going to be 2 for... going to be 4. Not huge, not terrible. They did split their power, so we don't know which direction they're going, but we'll see. Bishop is getting pretty large. He's at 7, 8, 9. He'll be at 9 after this. So unless they decide to push something big there, that may be our win lane. That may be just one of our win lanes, and then we do our Hawk and Mysterio just into the right lane. So the She-Hulk does come down. It is bigger than what we have, unfortunately. And then they second that, or they follow that up with a Lizard. So can we beat 13? If they do a Red Skull, so that's 13 plus the 5, that's 18. Can we beat 18 power here? Their hand is 10, so this is 13, 14, 15, 16. We can if they do the Red Skull here. And then if they don't, then we're playing 3 cards. Bishop gets buffed up. The Red Skull buffs them up by 1. I think we're okay. We're going to go ahead and send it. If this is the Red Skull, we should be okay. The 18 power, our Hawk is massive. We have the Mysterio coming down, which should put us at 19 or 20, just a touch over the 18 that we needed. Our Bishop is just a huge 24 power behemoth. That game was not a Hitmonkey game because we drew it so late and the vault was locked down, so we couldn't get the full effect from the Mysterio. But the early double disruption from the Iceman, from the Black Widow, forced them into having a pretty big deck, and so we were able to get a very large last turn Hawk along with a Bishop that we got enabled on turn 2. Beautiful. We will go ahead and take the 2 cubes. Let's go ahead and jump over into the next one. All right, next up we have Zen, and the first location is Kiln. Ugh, that's not great. Any kind of locational restrictions makes it a little bit harder to fully enable the Hitmonkey, just because you don't have as many turns or as much space to play those cards in. First card they play is a Human Torch, so it could, I don't know, it could be a bounce deck. It could be a bounce deck. It could be just a movement deck. We'll see, depending on... Okay, so Cloak. Oof. It is looking like just a movement deck. It's awkward. So we sent them 1 rock, hoping to add a decent amount of disruption into their hand. Now, we could do Bishop this turn, but with next turn being the last turn that we can play cards over there, I think we need to do Falcon and then Demon. That will allow us to do maybe Hawk over there, maybe Korg, Bast, and something else over there, depending on what we draw into. I don't know. And we could always Hawk into Onslaught Citadel. That's typically their weak or their lowest lane. So putting that much resource into that right lane, I don't know if it feels correct, but we'll see, depending on what it looks like they have for the rest of their hand, or for the rest of their board. So let's do this. It's not great. It's not a high amount of power, but it's moderate. It's moderate amount of power. We're gonna just push as much junk here as we can. Ooh, and they pull their Polaris over, so they're really, really stacked in that left lane, which we're okay with. We're bringing ourselves another Hood into the mix. We can play Bishop plus Hood now. We also send them a Widow's Bite to disrupt their draw a little bit further. I think we're okay. It's not great, but I don't think it's terrible either. Let's do this. Nah, let's reverse that. We're going to do this. We want to leave 1 space in Titan open just in case we need to push a little bit more there. Okay, so the vision comes down. Not huge. They're not, I mean, they win the left lane. They win Kiln, hands down. But we do have a Hawk, we have a Demon, and then now we have Mysterio. So, eesh, depending on what they play, this may not be a great lane to win. We're going to go ahead and play Hawk and Demon. Hawk is just going to win this lane by himself. Just 12, 13, 14, 15... 27? It's like 27 power in the Hawk. And then, so if they don't reinforce into Titan, then I think we just win. They could have a Shang-Chi, though. This could be a hybrid, and they go with Shang-Chi. Oh, no. Okay, so the Magneto's fine. Maybe. Yeah, no, the Magneto's fine. So we very heavily win the right lane. We win Titan. Not a comfy 2. We lose. We still don't see Hitmonkey. He's somewhere in the bottom 3, just chilling in our deck, along with our Beast and our Angela. That's all right. We'll take the 2. Let's go ahead and jump over into the next one. All right, next up we have a cube with a little frowny face. In our starting hand, we have our Angela, our Black Widow, our Mysterio. So some pretty decent cards to have early. I am going to focus on the disruption piece rather than trying to enable our Angela necessarily too early. So we do get Falcon. So actually, next turn we can play a Korg and then a Falcon to pull these 2 back up. And then we can replay them for even more disruption. So even though we don't have any of our big power enablers, what we're hoping here is that we can end up disrupting a potential Shuri play, a potential like big power play. Ooh, and then we do get Hitmonkey. Shuri's Lab does kind of scare me though, because after you, I don't know, that's kind of scary. We're gonna play Korg over there, and then we're gonna pull it back in. If we get Beast eventually, we can play a few more of our resources over there and then pull them back in. So something like Hitmonkey, I could end up being pretty decent. So the Sunspot, the Widow's Bite, they do soak. So I'm curious if we maybe hit their Shuri with the Iceman. Ooh, wow, and then we get to draw another one of our 1-cost cards, which is big. That helps thin our deck quite a bit. So I'm gonna go ahead and do a Bishop, and then we're gonna do a Hood. We're hoping for a Beast on this next top deck. We have a 1 out of 3 chance to pull into a Beast. If so, we can do Korg, Hitmonkey, Beast to pull them back in and then play them a little bit cheaper that next time around and just really enable a really big Hitmonkey, which I find very, very fun. So we did not end up hitting their Shuri. We do top deck into Beast though. So I think they're playing in Shuri's Lab, which is going to be almost unbeatable, I reckon. Do we want a Hitmonkey or do we want a Beast? Let's leave this as a surprise play. We're going to do Demon, Korg, pull it back in, and then we just do Iceman over to the left to further increase our Bishop. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if that's the right play. We are going to pull our Falcon back in. So we will end up pulling the Iceman back in next turn. So the big 26 power Red Skull, a 52 power Red Skull, excuse me. Excuse me. So we have the Demon, which is massive. The Korg, which is now, we've played it 2 times in Shuri's Lab, is getting pretty big, pretty hefty. Let's pull them back in. I think we prioritize, I don't know. This is going to be tricky. because I assume they have a Taskmaster, which they're going to be able to use here. Can we ever beat 52 power? I mean, maybe. So so this is 12. 24. That's 36. And we might get there. We might get there. 36. And then 16. 40 something. 36. Gosh, this is bigger math than I'm used to. 36 plus. Okay. We do Korg, we do Mysterio, and then we do a massive Hit Monkey. Actually, it doesn't matter when we play this, right? So let's do the Korg last. This one, and then this one. Just in case there's some kind of arrow play. I don't want it to pull our Hit Monkey. This is going to be a huge... It's going to be huge. I don't know if this is an... Oh, wait. We need to... Oh, no. This comes down to where they play their Taskmaster. I think this loses if they play it into the left lane. I'm hoping they... Oh, no. Dang it. We probably had a way to win this one. All we had to do was invest more heavily into mid, which we had the resources. It just took me too long to do the math. Oh no, this feels so bad. Oh, well, shoot. Okay. Okay, well. I'm disappointed in myself. Real Mysterio plus Real Korg here wins us the game. This is going to be a 21 power Hit Monkey. Oh man, all we had to do was play the real ones here. That's it. We win. Game over. But instead, we end up losing the 2 cubes. A pretty formidable Hit Monkey. But we played it wrong. Had they played it conservatively and thought maybe we had a Shang-Chi, they could have played their Taskmaster here. That could have been a play line. But unfortunately, they did not. And we ended up losing the split. That's all right. We'll keep it in just for the massive Hit Monkey play. Let's go ahead and jump over into one more. All right. Next up, we have the man, the legend, the myth. We have Fist Tower starting out. We have our Hit Monkey in hand. We have our Bast. I'm going to go ahead and start with Bast. We will be able to play our our Black Widow next turn. We want to focus on as much disruption. I know that I've said it a couple times during the video, but doing as much disruption as quickly and as early as possible is our biggest way to prohibit the opponent from getting their ideal plays. Any disruption we add makes their plays a little bit less efficient and a little bit less consistent. The last location is Murder World, and we really don't want to play any of the cards that we have. Iceman is like really the only one that we would consider playing. I'm just going to go... It's going to be a buy round. We're not going to really play much. So they destroy the Widow's Bite in Murder World. Unfortunately, they get to get rid of that resource. And otherwise, they take a free buy round as well. So we don't have any of our bounce components. Let's go ahead and do a Hawk. We could do Mysterio and Hit Monkey this turn, but it's not going to be great because this third location is restrictive. And so let's go ahead and just play it a little bit easier and get a feel for what the opponent's playing. They did use a Moon Girl. Interesting. Let's go ahead and do... Okay, now let's do Beast. We're going to do Angela in the right lane. This is going to enable a much bigger last turn Hit Monkey play. So we're going to go ahead and do that. They could have a Shang-Chi. They could have 2 Shang-Chis, actually. But we'll see. They could have 2 Hawks, which our deck is not great. They do have a big Shang-Chi. Unfortunately, they have the Shang-Chi. So we know they have another one, but that's also a low just power play for them in general. So let's do Black Widow, Bast, Iceman, Mysterio, Hit Monkey. We have space for a hood, but I mean, actually, let's reverse this order. Let's do a couple more cards here. Let's do the Real Mysterio, the Iceman, and then the Hit Monkey to the left. We already have the Angela, so Angela is going to help enable that lane, and then Hit Monkey will help us enable this left lane. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. And then this is the last card that we play. They can't pull it to the right with arrow. They can't pull anything else to the left with arrow. And so we should be a-okay. Actually, the Mysterio's trigger first. Dr. Doom is huge. Can we beat that in left lane? I think we do. I think we win left and right after everything kind of calculates and finishes. Because the Real Mysterio here is huge. Our Hit Monkey is going to be pretty large. It is going to end up swinging that location very heavily in our favor. We win the left, we win right, and we lose mid because of the Dr. Doom. But we do find a way to pull it out. We will gladly take those. That is the 2 cubes. And we're going to go ahead and end the video after that one. Overall, I think Hit Monkey is really flexible. I don't know that he... I don't know that he is alone at an S tier, but he's another way to enable some of those flood style decks. So I'm thinking maybe we start seeing serotonin come back. Sera with a lot of 2-cost drops. Maybe we do a Moon Zoo with Titania. Maybe we take out the Sentinel or the Maria Hill for a Hitmonkey. And then on the last turn, we're playing upwards of 5 or 6 cards to really help enable 1 or maybe even 2 Hitmonkeys. You could do this in a Sera tech. There's a lot of ways that you can build it, and I'm excited to test out a few of those options. But overall, if you're looking for a pretty decent day 1 build, this is going to get you there. This is going to be really fun. You're going to get to test out and try out Hitmonkey and make some tweaks along the way. But I hope that you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to give it a like and a comment down below. As always, this has been TLSG. Later, guys.